Okay, so one more video here. As I mentioned, we're going to go in detail about the structure of the chloroplast, but just to mention here, you do have these structures within the chloroplast, these little green structures called the thylakoid. And the thylakoid, and if I've got a stack of thylakoids, that's called a granum or a granum. I think it's granum. You've got this stack of thylakoids called a granum. And so within these thylakoids, the actual process is occurring where energy is being stored from sunlight. So it's going to be our focus next time, is to talk about how that process works. Now that process, just to kind of introduce it to you here, photosynthetic process is broken down into two parts. There's what we call the light-dependent reactions, and there's what we used to call the dark reactions. We don't call it the dark reactions anymore because it doesn't need to occur in darkness. It just doesn't have to have light. So now we call it light-dependent reactions and the light-independent reactions. So there are those reactions that need light to occur, and there are those reactions that don't need light to occur. But again, they don't have to occur in the dark, so we often don't refer to them as dark processes anymore. All right, what's going on here? Again, you've got this stack of thylakoids, right? Remember we said these are thylakoids, and a stack of them is called a granum. And if you got within a granum, you're going to have this process occurring where water's coming in. We're going to kick oxygen out, carbon dioxide's over here doing its thing, generating sugars. But on this side, we're just going to add water coming in, and we're going to kick oxygen out by basically exciting the electrons using light energy and getting those electrons where they're easily pulled off and pushed into basically reduce the ADP and the NADP, and these molecules that can carry the energy from the electrons into this other cycle. So we put low energy ADP and NADP into this side, the light dependent reactions. We add energy from the sun, and then that allows us to create more high energy ATP and NADPH ready to go into this light independent cycle, often referred to as the Calvin cycle. So again, that's going to be our focus next time. Talk about exactly how this works. It's pretty cool. It's like I said, it's essentially the reverse of mitochondria in some aspects. Okay. All right, guys. A little short on this video, but that's okay. I'm going to stop here. You guys are you have a bit of an advantage here. I'm not recording 75 minutes of video like I would lecture. So basically, the idea there is you have some time. Go learn a little more about enzyme regulation and a little more. Make sure you've watched the videos that are in the text about glycolysis and about the citric acid cycle. Watch some videos about enzyme regulation, and then read ahead in chapter 8 and maybe watch some videos on the photosynthesis. And again, yeah, it might be the same thing, and I'm going to say over and over again. You're going to hear it, you're going to read it in your book, you hear it on some videos. I'm going to say it in lectures. That's okay. Honestly, it's okay to see it, hear it 2 or 3 times. Again, we're trying to trick your brain into thinking this is more important than those memes you're seeing on Facebook or wherever you're reading. You see it more times, your brain says, oh, this is important, and starts to remember it. Okay. All right, guys, I'll be in Zoom this evening. I'm gonna drive home. My office is cold. They finally got the heat going back in here. I'm gonna go home so I can Zoom from home. So I'm gonna be out of pocket for a little bit here, but then I'll be back on Zoom this evening at probably about, as I said, by 5:40 I should be on Zoom. Stop in, ask your questions. And if you can't make it tonight, you make it another night. That's fine. Send me an email and say, hey, Steve, let's Zoom this night at this time. Is that okay? And if it's not, I'll tell you. If most likely it's going to be just fine. Okay? All right, guys. Stay safe. Stay healthy. All the things. At least it's warm. We don't have to stay warm anymore. All right, guys. Hopefully we're back in the classroom soon. I'll let you know as I know more.